Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black.
This is it, Satan. For the sake of our most glorious project, you will die today!
Yes guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today I'm going to be breaking down the most recent tier list I put together for Dragon Ball Legends. I did this in collaboration with my good friend DaLegend, so go and check him out. His links will be in the description of this video. So without further ado, let's get into this video, and if you do enjoy it, make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe if you are new around here. But yeah, we're going to get into it with the Z Plus tier, and I will say before I do that this tier list is based on units that are pretty much relevant in PvP that can be used competitively, and if a unit isn't on this tier list, it's because of that, pretty much because it's not a unit that is competitive enough in PvP to warrant you wanting to use him. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's start with the Z Plus tier, and of course we do have Zenkai, LF, Gohan, 18 and Super Saiyan 3. That's something that hasn't changed for a while now. These three units are just completely dominating the game, and 18 is really making androids a pain to deal with because of how good she is. But Gohan, we all know what Gohan does. He's just the most oppressive unit in the game, has incredible defenses, great last man standard capabilities, and yeah, just overall a really good unit and a nuisance to deal with. A unit that I don't have, and I would really like to try him just because of how broken he is. But yeah, hopefully one day I'll manage to get my hands on his Zenkai. Then we have, of course, 18, like I said. She's just really good, gets incredible levels of draw speed and does loads and loads of damage. And she can also take a hit as well. She's a very good unit all round, and that's why she's in the number 2 spot. I would say she's a bit more of a pain in the ass than Gohan is, even though Gohan is just the more oppressive unit and the better unit in certain people's hands. That's why he is number 1 and 18 is number 2. I feel like if 18 was a color that wasn't yellow and wasn't directly countered by Gohan, she could probably be number 1 or just, you know, rivaling Gohan. But right now Gohan is quite a long way in front of 18 just because of how incredibly busted he is. And then we have Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Incredible unit. He's not as defensive as the two in front of him are, but he's a very strong unit. He deals incredible amounts of damage, and that's why he's number 3 on the tier list. He's just a very good damage dealer who hits really hard with everything he does. He gains buffs as the fight goes on, and yeah, overall a very good unit, and he's covered by that Gohan who is in number 1. So that's all the defense he needs, really. So yeah, that's why he is in the Z Plus tier. And a unit that just misses out on that is the Goku Blue, the Zenkai 7 Goku Blue, of course. Again, a very good unit. He is the most all-rounded unit in the game, I would say. He just does everything really well. He deals a lot of damage, he stacks buffs as the fight goes on. He's really tanky at the beginning. He heals a lot with his green cards, and he hits really hard with his ultimate. He has a double vanish as well with his main ability. So overall, you're just doing pretty much everything you want to do with a unit with this Goku. He's great. And then we have Jiren, who a lot of people would say is worse than UI Goku. Well, I disagree, just because he's really easy to use. Like, he's a unit that you can literally just jump in, use his cards, and you're going to be doing incredible amounts of damage, and you don't even have to worry about cover changing because he nullifies cover changes. So yeah, he's just really good. He does everything you want a unit to do, same as the Goku Blue. Of course, he doesn't have the Zenkai stats or the tanking capabilities, but he's really good. He heals, he has draw speed with his main ability, his green card locks your opponent in, restores your gauge, and yeah, he just does everything, and he's a very strong unit that has blast armor on everything. And then we have UI Goku. I'm not going to make this too long, this description of why he isn't in front of Jiren or in the Z Plus tier. He's just a unit that in the right hands is a Z Plus tier unit, but if he's not in the right hands, and if you don't know how to master his auto evasion technique or, you know, his mechanic, you're not going to do too well with him. And that's something that I'm sure we'll get used to, but he's not in the Z Plus just because he's not consistent enough. His defense is really poor, and that's why he isn't in that tier. I'm going to do a full breakdown video on that in the future, so stay tuned for that. And well, I say in the future, it's going to be in the next couple of days. So yeah, expect that soon, and that's going to be an interesting video where I break him down completely after having seen him in the game for nearly a week now. Then we have Namek Goku, of course, Zenkai Namek Goku. What a Zenkai this is, honestly. One of my favourite Zenkais, just because they made him perfect for the meta. He isn't broken, and he's just perfectly balanced. It's what I expect every Zenkai to be, just a very, very balanced unit that doesn't break the game, doesn't make a team incredibly broken. Of course, he does make some family really broken, but that's just because he has two Zenkais in front of him that are Zenkai Gohan and the Super Saiyan 3, so he's kind of just feeding into that and making that even more busted. But yeah, he's a very, very good unit, really fun to use, and it's great to see him back in the meta, but not being broken like he once was. Yeah, just really, really good. He has great last man standing capabilities as well, and overall is a very, very tanky unit and a very strong unit, like I said, when your allies die. Then we have Revival Cell, one of the most interesting units in the game, one of the most fun units to use in the game, and I just love this guy. He's such a good unit, comes back after you deplete his first HP bar, with incredible key recovery after using a green card in his first HP bar, and just great offensive power, a really strong blue card, and just overall can clutch up matches so much because he can eat a Rising Rush for free pretty much, and yeah, very, very, very good. And that's why he is in the Z tier and in a very high position in the Z tier as well. Then we have Green Rose, who is fantastic. We all know how good Green Rose is. His green cards are incredible. They make him draw 3 new cards, and every time he draws a card, he gets buffed and he gets key. He heals with everything, which is just great, like after getting hit with his main ability, with his green cards, just really, really good. And his blue card is one of the hardest hitting blue cards in the game. That's why he's in this position, just a really good all-round unit that can take a hit as well, because he can heal it off after. Then we have the purple Vegeta Blue. What a unit this guy is. I mean, he's going to age really well just because of how good his supportive capabilities are. And the fact that he's not a support type, he is in fact a range type, means that his stats are actually very, very good. So he deals a lot of damage as well. He buffs his allies with every card he uses, buffs them when he dies as well. He destroys Dragon Balls when he dies. So overall, just a brilliant support unit. Reduces his the ally substitution count as well. So yeah, he just does everything you want a supportive unit to do, and at the same time, he's dealing insane amounts of damage. So that's why he is above this guy, Vegeta Blue. Still a very, very good unit, and don't get me wrong, every unit in this Z tier could literally be in any order. You could just make an argument for that and you'd probably be right in some instances. So there's really fine margins between every unit in how these are placed, but this is just how we felt, or you know, that this should be ordered. So yeah, Vegeta Blue, very, very good unit. His ultimate is, I would say, one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game. He's just really, really hard hitting, has supreme damage of course, so it does deal more damage than a lot of different ultimates that have massive damage or major, and yeah, he just doesn't hit as hard as he used to. He does have great strike damage, he draws a lot of cards. The damage he outputs isn't as much as it was, of course, when he released 6 months ago, but he is still a very oppressive unit, really easy to use. He can remove buffs, he locks in with his blue card, has a cover change, so overall is a very, very good unit. And the release of Jiren really has kind of knocked him back a little bit, because Jiren is just an even easier unit to use, and he's just really oppressive. And of course, color counters Vegito, and just, yeah, you can lock Vegito in with Jiren as well, and if you do that, it's over, because yeah, Jiren is going to take Vegito out really, really quickly. So Vegito has been pretty hindered by the Jiren, so that's why he's knocked back a little bit, but like I said, he is still a very, very good unit. And then we move into Android 16, the best tank in the game, and he remains that. He is incredible, such a strong unit. He can take a hit from anyone, even the Super Saiyan 3 Goku that's in the Z Plus tier. I mean, he's going to take a hit and get hurt by him, but he can eat a combo from him pretty comfortably, in fact. And that's something that not a lot of units can actually do. So that's why he's in that position. He buffs his team when he dies. He gets buffed when he gets hit, and he has a really hard-hitting ultimate, which does KO him, but it's very, very strong as well. And then we have Beerus, Zenkai 7 Beerus. Now, every Zenkai on this list is at Zenkai 7, since we have had the banners updated and they now only cost 7,000 each to get a Zenkai 7 unit. So now Beerus is at Zenkai 7 as well, a very good support for God Key, the best green God Key option, even though we do have Vardos, who's very, very close behind him, but he's a very strong unit, a very good all-round support type who is very old right now, but he's kept his place in the meta really well. If we take a look at the units that released alongside him, we have this Broly down here, who is in the S+ tier still, so he is a very strong unit, but the other one is this Goku, so he is all the way down here. So Beerus has kept his place really nicely in the meta, and he will carry on doing so because he's a very strong unit and a very good support type who can take away buffs, he can hit really hard, he steals main abilities, he does a lot of nice things. And then we have Toppo, another new unit, and he does find his way into the Z tier, the last spot on the Z tier, and it's just the fact that this guy is one of the most well-rounded units alongside this Goku Blue, like I said before. He's one of the best all-round units in the game. He's pretty tanky, he can hit insanely hard, and he supports his team and heals the whole team as well. So that is incredible. The fact that they fit all that into the same unit is just amazing, and he also has endurance. So this guy can literally do anything, and like I said, Jiren very easy to use, this Toppo is pretty easy to use, and we'll get into Dyspo in a minute, but the trio of the Pride Troopers is a very good team, and one that if you do have, you can be very competitive with. So let's get into Vados, the best pure support unit in the game in my opinion. I would argue that this Vegeta over here is the best support unit, but since he's not actually labelled as a support unit, I give that title to Vados. And the only reason she is in the S+ tier is because she's not tanky and she doesn't hit as hard as the units in the Z tier and the Z+ tier, just because of course she is a support type, so her stats aren't really as high as you would like them to be, but the amount of supportive capability she gives to the team is incredible. She reduces sub count, she gives your allies ki and insane amounts of buffs, and she heals the whole team as well. And all that as well, she gets draw speed when she comes in, she gets ki when she comes in, so yeah, she's just a very fun unit to use, and she's very good, and she's a main staple on the God Ki team if you don't have the Zenkai Beerus. And then we have Dyspo, who is another new unit, the last new unit on this tier list, and what a unit, honestly. I mean, this guy, he's probably the most fun unit to use out of the new units for me personally. I just love the way he plays. He's like a mini Vegito Blue. He draws a lot of cards, and his ki recovery is ridiculous. He has plus 100% ki recovery. So you're going to be drawing a lot of cards with this guy. You can get draw speed and 40% damage inflicted after 30 counts with his green card, which is incredible. He has an ultimate that hits really hard, and yeah, just overall this guy is really fun. You can put out some long combos, and the only reason he is in the S+ tier is because he's only really good after 30 counts. Before that, he is kind of hindered a little bit by his caps on his unique abilities and his green card, but he's a very good unit. And then we have Bardock, and I'm going to go through the rest of this a little bit quickly, just explaining why some units have dropped down from the Z tier, or why some have moved up a little bit. And Bardock just doesn't have a team. That's quite simply why he isn't in the Z tier anymore. He's a very good unit individually who does a lot of damage, can take a hit as well, but he doesn't have a team. And I'm sure when he gets some units that he can buff up with his critical buffs, I'm sure he will jump back up into the Z tier. Then we have Champa, who is incredible right now. He's gotten a big buff from this recent update from PvP. He reduces the sub count when he gets hit, which is really good. And the fact that UI Goku is purple, he's yellow, it means that he can hit him like a damn truck, and he can take him out with pretty much 2 cards. So that's why he's in this position. I think he'd be Z tier if he had increased draw speed, but the fact that he doesn't have that means that he is an S+ tier unit. Then we have 2 Zenkais on regen. The Zenkai Buu and the DKP, 2 very strong units that are pretty much the complete opposite to one another. One is a tanky defensive type, the other one's a really offensive, hard-hitting melee type. So yeah, they're very good characters that make the regen team a very good team, and one that's very annoying to deal with. And of course, now that Buu is at Zenkai 7, and you can get him to Zenkai 7 pretty easily now with 7,000 crystals, the regen team has made a little bit of a comeback. Then we have Goten, another very good support unit, who I would say is very good. He just doesn't tank anything right now. He's really poor in terms of defense, and that's the only thing that lets him down, and he hasn't really got anything that can heal him too much, unlike Vados, who does heal with her main ability, and every time she switches as well, she heals the whole team. So that's why he is not as high as Vados is. He doesn't have the healing capabilities or the tanking capabilities to do that, and he is still a very good support unit. He just has dropped down a little bit because of that. And then we have the Zenkai Purple Gohan, a very, very good unit as well. One of the most fun units to use in the game, I've heard. I don't have him personally, but he's a very hard-hitting unit as well, and he's a main staple on that Hybrid Saiyans team. But I would say I would rather you invest your crystals into the Super Saiyan 3 Goku up here, and just use a Son family team instead of a Hybrid team. And then we have the Zenkai Kid Goku. He's dropped off a little bit now because of the release of the new units and everything. He's just kind of fading away a little bit. He's getting a little bit old, and that's why he's dropped down to here. Kefla has dropped a long way down because of the release of UI Goku. I don't think I've seen her in PvP since then, like literally. She's gone off the radar, and it's kind of normal just because of how hard UI Goku hits and how good he is and how easily he can take her away, because of course he has increased damage to Fusion Warriors, and he's purple and she's green, so that's why she's down here. But she is still a very hard hitting unit and a very strong unit going forward. She just hasn't got the defense to make up for that. Majin Vegeta has been insanely well, disappointing really, just because when he released he instantly got replaced by Namek Goku, and he just hasn't found his way into the meta at all. Unlike the Cell that released alongside him, which is up here, he's been a very good unit, and Majin Vegeta just hasn't found his place in the meta. Merge the Masters dropped down a lot just because Vegeta up here has taken his place on Future, and the UI Goku's taken his place on God Key, so he really as well has been given the same treatment as the Majin Vegeta. Just not very nice to see that happen to him. Then we have the Cooler and then the Trunks, and I'm going to get through the rest of these pretty quickly. Then we have the Zenkai 7 Broly, Bergamo, the highest ranked Trio de Danger unit, a very good defensive type, who you can use instead of Dyspo if you prefer his kind of playstyle. I think Dyspo is a better all-round unit and works better with Toppo and Jiren, but you can also use Bergamo. Then we have this Blue Goku, who is incredible. Very, very hard-hitting unit, has a cover change, and just overall is a great unit, but you do need to run him alongside the purple Vegeta to get the best out of him, and that's why he isn't higher up on the tier list. Then we have a few units moving down, like the 21 and the Vegito. We also have this Vegeta, the LF Vegeta. He's moved down a lot. He has really been he's just, his stats aren't up to par is what I'm trying to say. He's just really old at this point, and he could be potentially the next LF Zenkai. We'll have to wait and see on that, but it is a possibility. And I'm going to let you guys take a look at the rest of the tier list and just let me know your thoughts in the comments. I just wanted to comment on the top 3 tiers pretty much, just to give you guys an idea of how this tier list is structured. And the rest of the tier list is pretty much in order as well, just in terms of viability in PvP. So take a look at it, let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on this tier list. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you smash a like, subscribe if you are new around here for more Dragon Ball Legends content, hit the notification icon to not miss a video in the future, and I will catch you next time. Peace.